Hello, welcome to the poetry reading with Fatal Brains. How are you all doing? Hope you are all having a great fun. And yes, Richard, I like your cap, embroidered. And Brain,
Those fertile brains, you know.
hope you are getting well. Yeah. And today world
कुछ तो
celebrate
ऑन करना बाबा
Cancer Day.
तो ऐसी सुन
Something, yeah. And once again, welcome to the poetry reading with Fatal Beans. I welcome you all, and let us begin some readings. Maybe it's with peace or for showing solidarity or whatever. Please welcome our first poet. Our first poet is a remarkable poet. She writes in Hindi and English. Um, please welcome Miss Meena Chauhan.
Hello, Prasanna. Good evening.
Yes, ma'am. Go.
You can
Good
listen.
evening.
आप सुन
Yes,
सकते हैं?
ma'am. हाँ जी मैम,
Okay.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm the first for today. So good evening, everybody, my all dear poets. So I have written one small poetry in Hindi, Dosti, friendship. कुछ पल की बातें कैसे दोस्ती में बदल गई पता ही नहीं चला कुछ पल की बातें कैसे दोस्ती में बदल गई पता ही नहीं चला ये दोस्त जब साथ होते हो कब सुबह से शाम हुई पता ही नहीं चला ये दोस्त जब साथ होते हो कब सुबह से शाम हुई पता ही नहीं चला ये दोस्ती कितनी निराली है छोटी हो या बड़ी बात खुशी हो या गम की बात सब मैं तुम्हें बताती हूँ छोटी हो या बड़ी बात खुशी हो या गम की बात सब मैं तुम्हें बताती हूँ कभी तुम मुझे समझाती हो कभी मैं तुम्हें समझाती हूँ ये दोस्ती कितनी निराली है पुरानी बातें करके हंसते फिर कहते क्या दिन थे वो कभी खट्टी कभी मीठी बातें जब हम दो दोस्त साथ होते हैं दुनिया चिढ़ जाती है ये दोस्ती कितनी निराली है जब दोस्त की बातें किसी और से सुनने को मिलती मन उदास हो जाता जब दोस्त की बातें किसी और से सुनने को मिलती तो मन उदास हो जाता बस इतना समझ लो अनमोल हीरा है दोस्ती ये दोस्ती कितनी निराली है ये दोस्त जिस गम से आंखें भर आए वो गम भी मुझे बताना ये दोस्त जिस गम से आंखें भर आए वो गम भी मुझे बताना दोस्त वह है जो बिना कहे समझ लेता है हर बात दोस्ती थामे रखता है हाथ उसे कोई बात समझानी नहीं पड़ती ये दोस्ती कितनी निराली है एक विश्वास है दोस्ती दुनिया के सभी रिश्तों से खास है ये दोस्ती जीवन में जो जो घोल दे रस वो मिठास है दोस्ती ये दोस्ती कितनी निराली है ये दोस्ती कितनी निराली है थैंक यू प्रसन्ना थैंक यू सो
Both,
मच
both cool, ma'am. If you have another one, you could go ahead, ma'am.
ओके सेकंड ये है बसंत ऋतु अब बसंत ऋतु आ ही गया है तो बसंत ऋतु आ रहा है और अभी पूरी तरह से आ जाएगा बसंत ऋतु है आई अपने संग खुशियां लेकर आई बसंत ऋतु है आई अपने संग खुशियां लेकर आई खेतों में हरियाली लाई धरती पे हरियाली लाई बसंत ऋतु है आई मानो कुदरत भी हंस दी, नई उमंग छाई हर मन में, रंग बिरंगे रंगों वाली तितलियां की मौज बहार, बसंत ऋतु है आई। सरसों के पीले पीले फूलों से धरती स्वयं संवर गई। सरसों के पीले पीले फूलों से धरती स्वयं संवर गई। सोलह सिंगार से सजी क्यारी, सोलह सिंगार से सजी क्यारियां, चिड़ियां चहकी, भौरे मतवाले रस पीने आ गए, बसंत ऋतु है आई। थोड़े दिन में होली आएगी, साथ अपने लाएगी रंगों की टोली, भेदभाव मिटाकर कर देगी रंगीन दुनिया, बसंत ऋतु है आई, बसंत ऋतु है आई। This is very small poetry.
बहुत खूब मैम, बहुत। बसंत ऋतु है आई। और क्या दोस्त, जो आइडियल दोस्त का जो आपने वर्णन किया वो पा सकते हैं आज का।
Yeah, but
Yeah,
तो
I would
मेरा
like to say something here.
मेरी दोस्त
Wonderful poetry, Meena Chauhan.
हाँ हाँ रूपाली,
You are here.
तुम्हारी
You
जैसे
are here
दोस्त।
as a poet. But this is a forum which is one of friendship, friendship with so many poets from so many parts of the world, and we're all together, Sunday after Sunday, because the prime motivator is Prasanna and the fertile brains. But on a
Yes,
very
right.
personal note, Meena Chauhan and I have been friends since we were 22 years old. So that's a
Yes.
long time. And
हाँ,
we have gone through many ups and downs in life, but we continue to be together. And interestingly, Prasanna has brought us together on the Zoom platform. So let's all, say a wonderful clap to
so
Prasanna.
I
for
want to
bringing
say
friends
प्रसन्ना
together.
something. प्रसन्ना, जब मैं रूपाली को अपनी बात नहीं बताती हूँ, किसी और से पता चलता है तो रूपाली मेरे से गुस्सा हो जाती है, बिकॉज शी इज माई फ्रेंड, दोस्त। तो मैंने लिखा है कि यार किसी और से बात पता चलती है तो बहुत दुख होता है ना?
that's natural, ma'am. That's natural. But nowadays we cannot find the friendship that you defined in the poetry, because your 22 years is such a, I mean, it's remarkable, and that is
Not
something.
22 years, Prasanna. Say, no, my daughter was, I think, 6 year old. We are a neighbor. That time, when in between we are separated, my husband posted somewhere her. तो बाद में हम सब इकट्ठे हो गए. But this friendship is, I think, 40 years old.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But this thing goes to Prasanna for bringing so many people
Yes.
together. Today I realized very deeply, remembering a friend, that we have so many friends, so many young friends, and so many friends who are our peer groups. Some are older than us, but it's a great forum of friendship, and I think that's a tribute to the fertile brains. Thank you so much, Prasanna.
Thank you, ma'am. Maybe that's a kind of tribute. But then it's sad, I hope Gargi ma'am agree with me, because we are all equal, I mean, contemporaries, because, the kind of friendship nowadays that is, blooming up is not something you talked about, the, kind of, I mean, क्या बोले but idealistic, these things have been, more anyway, that's very. But anyways, Doctor, please welcome Dr. Please give a round of applause, my dear friends. That was Meena Chauhan, ma'am, that talked about the friendship and defining friendship, and also has talked about the spring that is coming up, the spring, the imagery that has gone into, and long live friendship of both Dr. Roopali ma'am and Meena Chauhan ma'am, and yes, everlasting. Please welcome our next poet on Dr. Molly Joseph. She's joining us after a short break, but yes, she's here to, chime in. Please welcome.
Hi, Prasanna. With apologies, because many a Sunday it was like, a kind of tight schedule for me. I couldn't. But how many times, wishfully, I hoped if I could make it. Today I made it, because I know the kind of camaraderie, the family feeling, as Roopali ji put it. It's something unparalleled. Hearty welcome, Meena Chauhan. We are meeting in this platform for the first time. Dears, these days it had been a little bit hectic because two of my works were coming out from the press, Others Press. One is my new book, as I don't know why it goes haphazard. When the hummingbird flies, my book of poems. That is like in the war, in this war background, I felt there is need more for songs of peace and love. So that is one. Mr. Salton, who is the editor of Prodigy magazine, was kind enough to bring out an edition of his own there in America, and then he is the one who wrote the foreword to my book. I'll today read to you one book. And then another thing again on love, that is the tree with love blossoms. The tree with love blossoms. That is King Solomon and his lady love. The story from Old Testament, the Song of Songs. It's a translation from Malayalam. A novel, wonderful novel, which taught me that unconditional love prevails. That is it. King Solomon falls in love with a damsel from Shulem, a vineyard girl, a vineyard girl. But their love is so strong. And you might have heard of those chords where, you feel your heart goes out. That chord from the Testament. Let us go early to the vineyards to see if the vines have flowered, if the buds have opened, and the pomegranates have blossomed. There I'll give you my love. From these 4 lines, there emerged a wonderful Malayalam movie. You remember, you might have seen it. Our Mohanlal was the hero. See? That is it. So this has stirred so much of poetic imagination, creativity, and I hope you will all love it. I'll share the links here. And today, let me read out what the hummingbird does. My synonym or my other name, Latin is smiling. And even Rick knows, my name is Maina. I keep on humming. Even when I was a girl child, even in bathroom and all, my father would say, hey, you would grow into a great singer, girl. Sing openly. But I was keeping on humming and humming. But she had so many songs stored in her mind, which blossomed only much, much later. So every time when I write a poem, I think of my father who asked me to open out. So here, the starting poem is When the Hummingbird Flies. Transcending peripheries of walled-in, walled-out terrains, the hummingbird flies. The snow-capped mounds of silence watch. Their unexpressed agony melts out. The valley below burns. The riverbeds naked. Somewhere drip, drop from the drainage or the oozing blood of the wounded caught in the war. Blast, blurring smoke. The agony heightens with helpless cries of children, women. With the frailty of the foam on sea, life fades. With the frailty of the foam on sea, life fades. The dust gathered turns mist, scaling heights, crystals form. They drop down, soaking the barren. The merging art of transience with shifting shades of cosmic cycles. The hums of the singing bird, all knowing, all seeing, wafting in frisons of hope, renewal, solace, peace. Its notes, not dust drawn, but timely, fresh. It resonates the earth, the sky, the cosmos. Thank you, dears. That is my opening poem. I'll give you the link. You can access my poems in that new book. This will be my 20th and 21st books in my repertoire. Thank you, dears. All your blessing, Roopali ji, and all the people have gathered. I seek your blessings.
Definitely, ma'am.
Congratulations, Molly. I love the title of your book. Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations, ma'am, on your book. And, you could share the link in the chat section so that, people could,
Yeah.
click the link and go through it. That was Dr. Molly Joseph. We could cherish the moment that we spent. We never expected, but that was the day we still have.
Yeah.
So it was this nice gesture of coming from the long distance, and yet.
What a rendezvous it was. We can still cherish the sweet memories of our rendezvous there.
Yes.
Thank you.
All credit goes to Roopali, ma'am. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it's not possible. So this only has could
I could see the Colonel also. What a walk.
dreamt of. I always dreamt of. I keep asking my friends to go visit Molly, ma'am. I share the number too, but they're hesitant. But yes, that was something. Yes, ma'am. Congratulations. That was Dr. Molly Joseph. Please give a round of applause, my dear friends. We're celebrating World Cancer Day today, and many are being, affected by the disease, and much of awareness has to be given out, and there are the different section. I mean, types of cancers that are evolving, coming up. One is being affected by our very, very own friend, and maybe is our long-time friend of Fatal Brands. Please give a round of applause and please welcome and please pray for his healthy recovery, Richard Spisek.
Thank you so much. It's an honor, as always, to be in this fine, select group of good, caring souls. I appreciate all the good energy you send. Believe me, it's very nourishing. I have two pieces for you today in a lighter-hearted mood. This first one is about a literary lizard. Many of us, when we're reading, when we're exploring our writing, we have little animals that appear for us. And one day I was on my way driving to a literary gathering, a poetry reading, and as I got in my car, I noticed there was a little lizard on the windshield. And I thought, oh my God, I've got to scare him away because I don't want him to be on the road with me. It's a half an hour ride. He might blow off and end up in the street. I was so terrified. But I tried to scoot him off and he wouldn't go. But I had to leave. So I very carefully got in the car and tried to not make his ride any more difficult than it was. So this is the story of the literary lizard. Lizards against the sky. He may be bug hunting. I know why. I once had a lizard hitchhiker who rode with me to the library. He rode all the way. He was no piker. When we arrived for the reading, down he hopped with the kind of enthusiasm as if he was heading for some breeding. He waited on a nearby tree and waited patiently, munched a bug, 2 or 3, and as I re-entered my car to leave, he scampered away, or so I perceived, perhaps into the forest of grass, an adventure free of concern. Now, cleared of our censure, what might he learn? He was exploring my windshield as I prepared to leave. That cute little fellow fall, I would surely grieve. It was a 20-minute ride. I hoped the winds and waves would not brush him and prove too grave. Traveling down the busy highway, I watched him closely, watched the wind buffet him as I drove from home. His prospects were grim. The wind pushed him as he struggled across the windshield toward some rest. He reached the edge of the driver's side and suddenly leapt to the mirror and climbed inside. He climbed in behind the mirror to escape the wind as it raced in all its fury right over him. He made it all the way with me to the parking lot of the library. Then he was free. I parked at the wild edge of the library parking lot, surrounded by grass in the shade of a tree, so that when he jumped, he could hide in the grass as long as he needed for the excitement to pass. Down he leapt into the tall grass and disappeared from me. Maybe he might have climbed the nearby tree. The literary lizard stayed to see me off, and before he launched his next adventure, I waved and softly coughed. And when I returned after the poetry reading, he was still on the tree, munching possibly ants or maybe some beetling. I waved goodbye in salutation and left him climbing the tree to regain his former elevation. Okay, and this one more if there's time. This is from a prompt, and can I share screen, sir? This is from a prompt of a recent poet of mine, friend of mine, and this was called Clock. She wanted us to say clock. Okay, and hopefully you can see the poem Clock. And
yes,
here we go.
Yes.
Okay, clock. And this is clock in the sense of putting in long hours at the office. Clocking long hours at the office, I was often treated to quite a ruckus. For what it was worth, I was often stuckus. We had a bit of an infestation of mice who were never rude and often quite nice. They rarely ever stole a lunch, and when they did, they'd leave a little something like a tip. If you left a bit of sandwich away, it might slip, but never, though they were hoarders, did they ever even take a bit from me. I must have been just beyond their borders. I always left them a little fruit to console, something that might wrestle away to their tiny hidey hole, or just a few Cheez-Its on which they might dine on those lazy afternoons when they had extra time, that attacked those Cheez-Its in end on end and tumbled them all like dominoes deep in their den. But this particular night, Lars had left a beer, thinking he'd be back to clear away the mess he'd left on his drafting board, where absent-mindedly he'd been drawing antique swords. He'd drawn katanas, he'd drawn gladiuses, he'd drawn lightsabers like you'd see at Toys R Us's. Ninja swords with tactical scabbards, some like what Vikings might have left in Labrador. He'd drawn rapiers and barb sabers and cutlasses. He'd sketched scimitars and machetes and basket-handled fancy ones like you'd see in fencing class. He'd drawn a Hamburg and a Zywander and a hook sword, but instead the mice turned their attention to the beer, and that's where they found their hop's reward. They managed to lift the bottle one by one till they lifted it over, until each little mouse was roiled and rolled and slipped into clover. Each little mouse filled its tummy with a golden warm brew, and satisfied they sat back with a little burp, just like they were you. They giggled and sniggled and laughed uproarious, and on this mischievous day some of them, whose names I won't mention, acquired reputations more than a little notorious. The chief mouse among them sauntered over and tipped his cap, and being more than a little tipsy, he fell smack in my lap. Since I was working late, I'd saved my lunch till late, and from my gorgeous galumping bunch of seedless, I handed him a grape. He gave it back to me in a wink. He made it back to his feet and hopped up on the drafting board to survey the scene. His rollicking mice mates had tilted the plates and got tangled in plastic wrap and paused breathless to wait. But, feeling his responsibility, he turned to his mates, got them to stand up and begin to organize in a bid to relocate. They shoved the wastebasket so the debris would fall into the basket, since they were still tiny after all. It was more than a tasklet. It was quite an ordeal. No matter how you feel about mice, they have a certain furry appeal. The old squire fell into the peanut butter, and sure, that wasn't honey. And although he was wiped his whiskers, it was really quite funny. But I'd clocked my time in prose and rhyme, and I hope it touched your smile this time. Thank you, my friends.
Like the background, sir. I like the background. Lizard. It goes well with that your poem of yours, the first one. It reminds me of dinosaurs too. The last week. Oh my God. Anybody could react on this, and you're free to. Please.
Your keen observation, no, the minutiae of these little ones in front of you, that great eye, that singularity, the bee-eyed singularity of your observation and your presentation, so full of life. Something to gain, something to know, something to be cheerful about, Rick. That's it. You possess such a kind of cheerfulness. Thank you, Rick. It's always a great experience to listen to you. Thank you.
If I brought a smile, then I've done something worthwhile. Thank you so much, my friends.
Rick is an environmental scientist. He
Yeah.
brings the other aspects to life that we very rarely think about.
Yes, yes.
And you succeeded in that, Richard. Please give a round of applause, dear friends. Up next is our very own team member. Please welcome Dr. Gargi Saha. Saha, yes, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Prasanna sir, for inviting me in this platform of poetry. Congratulations, Molly ma'am, on publishing your 2 new books.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. My poems are from my first poem book, The Muse in My Salad Days. The first one, here it goes. Suffocation. That jolted anger that never bursts, the mind that's crippled by fears, the agony in the form of tears, the revenge that in the mind lingers, the mind which is dipped in tension, always depression, depression, and depression, those unheard cries of falsehood, entanglements, bondage and ties, where love is murdered and unity surrendered, where frankness is shattered and aims, ambitions, and aspirations plastered. Life becomes a knife, pain, melancholy, and bitter tears to wipe. Life is a marvelous pilgrimage. It is a mirror and reflects your own image. That was the first one. And the second one is Lost Horizon. Silent is the night. The trees are dark. Silent, silvery moons walk. The ocean's tide, weakened vision, unfeared fears that succumb me, where I can only betrayal and deception see. Falsity prevails everywhere. Where is honesty, bravery, and care? The unthought thoughts, the unheard cries, the untold lies, the unwept tears, fearless fears, the deadened, paralyzed nature, the forthcoming tomorrow, the future. Helpless alone in predicament am I. Who can hear my passionate cry? I feel I am diametrically lost. In nature's flow, I am only lost. Thank you.
Oh, short and yet profound. That was Gargi. And that's the style of Gargi's, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Very sweet. Please give a round of applause, my dear friends.
Sweet and intimate, a kind of, openness exude. Loved it, Gargi.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, Lantern, please go ahead.
Right. Okay.
No, you wanted to share, I mean, like reaction on Gargi ma'ams.
Oh.
She's waiting for that.
Well, I kind of wrote something for her. She was very short, very concise, saying quite a lot in everyday language. Really, she's talking about fears. She's talking about our aspirations being flustered. Aspiration is like our hope. And we want to manifest positivity in life, but sometimes we're held back by fears and we become depressed and flustered. She talked about her cries being passionate, the things that apply to all souls, the untold lies, the unwept tears. Sometimes we want to cry, but everything is so solemn and so bleak, we don't know where to start, but at the same time, it offers hope. It talks about aspiration, and it basically says, it's like sometimes, you're fettered, you're in chains, like in the allegory of the cave, you're in Plato's cave, you're in chains and everything is dark, but there's a light at the end of its tunnel at the same time, and one just needs guidance, to take them out. I guess it's the sort of thing, but there's a lot in what she said, just few words, and we can take it in so many different directions.
That's the catch. Thank you, Lantern. That was remarkable. And yeah, please. Please, go ahead.
Me, again.
Gargi, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Lantern, for such a wonderful review. You heard and you said so much about it. You meant so much. Thank you so much for your reviews. Profound.
Thank you, Dr. Gargi, ma'am. Thank you, Lantern, sir, and please, Acharya. Please welcome our Gulshan. Gulshan is our next poet. Please give a round of applause. Gulshan. Gulshan is from Romania, Russia. Russia. Please. Gulshan, go ahead.
Здравствуйте. Я рада, что с вами опять встретилась. Я из Казахстана.
Gulshan, go ahead. We can't understand your language yet. You could read out your poem. Please.
У меня один стих на русском языке. Родина ваша находится на золоте цветущем, и флаг голубой волнуется, знамя наши зовущие, тоска по родине до неба племенем возгорается. Знаете же, люди, я хотела, чтоб счастливы были братья. Вал белого отала развернется шестикрылой юртой. Хочу, чтоб на купоре круглом восседали ласточки юркие. Родные скорей, возвращайтесь, вас ждет, где заждется мать Родина. Тогда для вас закипят все казаны, праздничные чувства наполненные. Братья, вы где-то далеке от нас, нам остается ожидать в аулах, тоска по вам преследует сейчас в просторах степей, печаль в разгулах, не находит места и мается, а любовь чудакам не дарю. Ведь Родина нас ожидается, мы с нею узнаем цену добру. Спасибо.
Thank you, Gulshan. I wish we could translate, someone could translate that, but yes, we loved it. We enjoyed your reading, and thank you for joining for such, thank you, Gulshan. I mean, please give a round of applause right there for Gulshan. Yeah. Please welcome our Acharya. Acharya is our next poet. Please. Yes. Mic is yours.
Thank you, my brother. Greetings to all. Namaste, the light in me bows to the light in you, for we are one in love. I was stabbed powerfully by a brilliant aura of radiant light, exalting me to the pinnacle of the sun. She cleansed my tongue with her heart's fire, erasing the shadows I had acquired, scarred memories for eons. Hand in hand, we walked through a pillar of blazing candles, me reeling as in a drunken stupor, as her immaculate delight, demanding the removal of all impediments, covering the supernal grandeur of my spirit. Ah, What perennial excellence! Shooting stars dance with moonbeams, love's lute radiating symphonies in the tabernacle of my being. Now timeless, timeless, timeless is this moment as we waltz and embrace like a ballerina does with flight, hearts pulsing on mystical rhythms in the sacred bosom of eternity. Sweet infinitude, a moment, my lover supreme, tarry a little longer. I know not whence I came nor where I'm going. I'm intoxicated, lying dazed on the lap of the beloved as my soul sings King David's psalms in the sweet citadel of the heart. That was my first one. I've got one more. A second piece is a theme given by the New Yorkian Cafe in Manhattan. Magnetized polar opposites. You catch my attention, and I am drawn towards you, my love magnets, like the moth is to the flame. Only a fire evolves from the joy of an ineffable sweetness that enchants the soul, bewildering the passionate lover in my heart. Yet I struggle with the demons within me, the ancient ghouls that still haunt me like shadows, alluring me into the ephemeral nature of the flesh, its wanton desires, pushing me into a destructive path, almost impossible to resist. The voice of my beloved Shyama calls me, come. I rise like a teenage Maya Angelou, only to fall on the bridge of sorrows and regrets that I created myself, the bed of nails that sting me like nettles, and in this chimera of life, I swing once again like a Libran pendulum. Still, you call, and for a while I repel my fears, the fetters that chain me to a loneliness I carry upon my shoulders like a dead elephant, march forwards as if enticed by the solace of a lusted moon, the rays of a sun I know I feel within, both pulling me towards my golden summers. Alas, the heart is weak, my attachment's intense, and the law of Kamini Kanchana, Las Mujeres y el Oro, women and gold, accompanied by my bipolar nature, tussling as Dr. Jekyll and Hyde do with light and shadows, until once again I fall into an abyss of insecurity and pain. Oh, love, you who never fail to compensate me in my darkness, come, where are you in my hour of need? My beloved responds, saying that she hides as roses in my thorns, offers a flickering candle in my darkness, shines as a beacon of hope to me, a divine mariner on turbulent oceans. She says that she's there in the fields of war, in the trials and tribulations of those too weak to scream, yet alone run, that her adversity burns with the light of heaven, offering a GPS so I can return home, if only I knock on her door of compassion. Instead, I behave like Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, too instinctive to be discreet. There is a winter within me, concealing the warmth of 100 summers, and in the war waged against my inner Goliaths lies concealed the accuracy of 1,000 slingshots of love. I'm like an inebriate, hands shaking at dawn, yet reaching for his next bottle. One caught in the illusion of ecstasy, still committing acts of aggression to ensure his next fix, unaware that his own heart is a citadel of astonishing beauty and unspoken delight. Chained to complacency and mental turmoil, I can only soak in the toxic poisons I see on TV, the untruths I drink from the media. Oh, love, take away this cross from me. Help me to adhere to the ways of paradise so that I will ultimately find my way into the portals of supernal bliss. London Carrier, thank you.
Wow.
So
No
meaningful.
words.
I'm totally lost in the exuberance of nature. From the brilliance of thoughts to the sublimity of language, you weave an astounding tale of magic and fantasy. I'm totally spellbound.
Done your bad. Mighty, done your
I
bad.
always remain speechless when you utter out, sir. Winter in me, spring in me, the kind of usage, the phrases that go by, each every time, the intently when you listen, you get carried away and, you try to pick those things out. And
Yeah.
that's the kind of learning that I always get to learn.
I'm
And
talking about
thanks
the
to
bipolar nature of the soul. We want to go forward, but we go backward, tempted by the allure of mundane desires, what in Islam they call the dunya, worldliness of the world. And it's necessary. No one is criticizing it. We stumble and we go up and down like a pendulum, seesaw. When you're a child, you're on a seesaw, you're going up and down, and life is like that. But the falls are necessary too, There's light in the darkness.
Absolutely, Lantern. The way you deal with even suffering, which hides salvation, no? Suffering leads to salvation.
Indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Yes.
Yeah. And the kind of spirit we feel, you are giving a spiritual colors. That's it. That's a great
Thank you, Dr. Malichi.
The feel of your poem. Thank you so much.
Sukriya.
Maybe through this medium we could try to balance ourselves to the seas of balance of life. But it's very difficult to say. I would.
Yeah.
It is very difficult.
Yeah.
But anyways, we are trying through this writing or to the expression. We are just trying something. Evolving,
Indeed. Yes, we're moving forward. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is for. Please give a round of applause. Somebody bless. Please. Yes, I was asked to read some few lines in between, so I think this is. I could share this out. As I was listening to the music, something seemed to surround me. Sensed it's your voice reverberating those past moments. That's it. Ma'am, don't. Okay, please welcome our very own. I have no words to describe. Please welcome Dr. Roopali Sircar Gaur.
Thank you, my brother Rick, for the shouts. Beautiful writing.
Yes, Lantern, you take us to great spiritual heights and you take us inside. There is no other place to go except inside.
Thank you, Dr.
Morning, this morning, I suddenly remembered my friend Christine Larson, a renowned poet from Australia, who passed away perhaps last year due to cancer. I had no idea today is the cancer day. I just heard from Prasanna, but she came to my mind, and I had written a poem for her, which I put up on my Facebook post. So I'm going to read that poem, and I'll read another poem written by my friend's sister, who also suffered from cancer. So this is for Christine Larson. Now, when we talk of friendship, which Meena Chauhan did, my friends, I feel very deeply connected to my friends, even on Facebook. I never call them Facebook friends. They are my friends. So this said she lived in the lap of nature, a happy farmer, a rescuer of animals and a lover of dogs. This is Christine Larson. A beautiful, healthy life in the warmth of the Australian sun. With her Viking partner, she lived with nature and its gifts. Christine was a creative person who loved to write. Words for her were never out of sight. Day and night she would write. Then one day, like a bolt from the blue, she confronted what she decided was small c. She, Christine, was the big C. She said she was the big C. And she coolly added the info in her bio. The body was now in conflict with the courage of her soul. Refusing all conventional medicine, she chose the medicine of courage to fight the diabolic disease. Her pen became her sword, her ammunition the spirited word. The poetry took flight and the muses flew around her in rings of gossamer wings. You are so brave, her friends messaged her. She alone knew how brave she was. Ask me at midnight, she said, when the pain takes my breath away. She laughed merrily. Death be not proud. Some days she would tell us about the loss of weight, and some days of her failing eyesight, but always of how much she loved to write. Her words of courage sprung from a magic spring as she silently fought the enemy within. Then one day she stood up, picked up her pen, and walked across the dazzling rainbow, chuckling, I shall wait for you there, dear friends. Till then, I will frolic with my furry friends and write in the sight of the heavenly light. So she was this great writer. And the only way that I could help her, because I live so far away, was to help publish her poems. And my very dear friend Arindam Roy, who runs this very powerful e-journal called The Different Truth, he would publish her poems. I would send it to him, and the next day her poems would be out. So I have much to thank him also. And now I have a poem which my friend Mr. Krishna Kidambi translated, uh, from Telugu into transliterated it, he calls it. And this is a poem by his sister Sudha. Find the raga in the affliction. The raga is a structured musical system in the classical Indian music. So she's written this poem: sing, dance, and talk. Convert affliction to a raga. Will music cure the malady? Will talk make the malady disappear? Is victory possible in this game? We will ask. We will contemplate, discard the tears, and do an alap instead. Write a new song for life, but we will have to sing, dance, and talk. Convert affliction to a raga. There are many maladies, many ragas, many worries, many diagnoses, different octaves, different beats. Those with rapid beats talk rapidly at all times. Some with a slow beat drown in it. The physician caters to all octaves and beats. We should sing and dance, convert affliction to a raga, diets change, lives become insipid, throats get parched, music loses its well being, beats change, leave like evaporated dew without a trace, looks change and become otherworldly. Tunes lose their tunefulness, soreness starts from the inside. Whatever changes, we should sing and dance, convert affliction to a raga. This disease, cancer, does not differentiate between castes nor age. For this epidemic, like affliction, girls, mothers, grandmothers are equalized by it. The lonely refrain, the end in the hospital with everyone we will sing, no matter what the octave, to distance ourselves from the affliction. We will sing and dance and talk and convert affliction to a raga. We'll convert affliction to a raga. Now, this is from Sudha, who suffered from cancer, and she left this world, of course. And her brother, Mr. Krishna Kidambi, has transliterated this, and he's also said that he never realized the kind of pain she suffered. So it is important that we are aware of it, and the fact that uh, Christine says that only I know what is the pain, so we should, I also feel this because my sister suffered from cancer, that we should stop telling a person who's suffering that be brave, be strong. This is a very unfair thing. We should encourage them to maybe turn their affliction into a raga, as Sudha says, but not go on saying, you're so brave, you're so strong, you should be able to fight it, because everybody feels depressed. When we are sick, we all feel very disturbed, and we should be able to help and be in the company of our friends who have this problem, and especially the families. Families also, the caregivers need. So thank you so much, Prasanna. It is very strange, a very intuitive person, that I should have chosen these two poems to read today without knowing that today is World Cancer Day. Thank you so much.
Very brilliant description that went by, ma'am. Sometimes what are we clapping for is something we, need to think of, because they talked about the, victims. They talked about the affliction that is, the diabolic that you mentioned. 2022 is the year that I remember that Christine has passed away and left this world, and we paid tribute in our own way, in our way. But yes, some questions still lingered on, and the beautiful. I mean, I cannot say beautiful. What is there in that? I mean, when you're expressing your pain, so anybody could react on this. Dr.
Well,
Roopali.
she's actually giving us a song to talk about singing. Her work reads like a song, I use a lot of cadences in my writings, and by that I mean the musicality, the tempo, the rhythm, the beat, the tone, the instruments. And raga is a kind of supreme Eastern way, which I think is lacking in the Western music. It's there, but it's just that the Indian music is ancient, and it takes it to a deeper and a greater height. And that woman, Christina, is obviously has an intuitive feel of it. And then she's using life itself. She talks about the physician catering for all, like God is the supreme physician in one sense, really. My sweet mother, Shima, she's catering for all, and she's asking us to, this is like a Leela. You're familiar with that word. And she's asking us to dance, basically, to celebrate, look at life from the positive aspects. So it's not a joke poem. It's a very elevating, sublime kind of thing she's doing. And she's singing while she's asking us to sing. That's what I picked up from the poem. It's musicality.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lanton, because the poem that you are referring to is written by Sudha, and her brother Krishna Kidambi, who's a very dear friend of mine. It's his sister who's written this, and you have really caught on. That this whole celebration of life that an individual must continue. I mean, she's suffering, and yet she's giving us this, this message. She's telling us how to live.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, I would like to add one thing in Roopali ma'am's recitation, that she has narrative recitations, narrative poems, which explains the maladies of people, the sorrow. She very simply recites these things. These things are very heart-touching, but I don't see in her face a grimace or sorrow. She just plainly recites. I am very much impressed by her recitation, that I would have cried while reciting such a poem. And one more thing, and another person, that Mr. Lantern, so he speaks spiritually. You see, his voice is full of spirituality. And when I listen to him, it seems to me that some God-gifted person is speaking before us. Lantern, I am very much impressed by your recitation. And Roopali ma'am, she is very simply reciting, very, very hard these poems. I couldn't recite. I cannot imagine. Thank you very much. Good
They've
people.
asked me to write about cancer.
Thank you so much.
So
They've asked me to write about cancer. So I knew about the Cancer Day, and I'm doing it on my birthday, which is next Saturday. I've been commissioned by a radio station to write about prostatic cancer, which affects men, generally in their 40s and over. That aspect of it for young.
And Mr. Lantern, just go to the homeopath. You see, homeopath. Your prostate can be cured. Yeah, homeopathy. I'm the
Well,
student.
add that as well. I hadn't thought about that side of it, but
No, I'll tell you, because I am a very disciplined student of homeopathy as well.
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. On that note, go ahead with. But I was, I was intrigued by your comment whether it is appreciation and otherwise. But as whatever it is, it's white magic happens with homeopathic.
Yeah, no,
But
no. It's real. It's
sometimes
real.
I totally agree with Roopali ma'am that it is easy to say be bold, be brave, be strong, but the one
Yeah.
who suffers is this. That's a
He
strong
knows.
statement
He
at
knows. He
least
knows.
that it has to be. But that was Dr. Roopali Sircar. Please give a round of applause, my dear friends.
It's a very relevant.
Thank you so much.
No, very relevant.
Applause and a namaste to Roopali ma'am with due respect.
Roopali ji, it is so touching. And even, doing it so well, the picturesque it came into our mind's eye. And then I will tell you something since this is that day of cancer. I had a friend, my colleague, who was afflicted at a very late stage, detecting cancer. But she was by nature a very jolly person, like finding out the fun, mirthful part of things. And we kept on telling her, come on, you can fight it out, girl. You will do it. Sometimes certain people, she would say, every day when I meet you, my friends, you are giving me the spirit. Yes. She was boosted and boosted every day. Like, how are you today? She was Fatima. We called her Fatty. Fatty, how is the day for you? Huh? You are coping up well? And you can. So sometimes that also works when the bonding
Yes.
increases. The positive reinforcement. And later days, when she resumed her work, she is more active than me after retirement. Going to different places, taking classes, everything. And she would tell it was my friends around who energized me every day, telling me I could get over, I could get over. So that is also another part of it. But simple lip service, just saying, oh, you can be bold, and then you have platform. That's not our way of dealing with them. I appreciate the sincerity with which you put it, Roopali ji. So let's all pray for those who are afflicted this particular day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Molly.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, ma'am. You're saying something. Okay.
Thanking everybody because it's important, Prasanna, that on your forum somebody the other reminds us what day it is, and you reminded. And as I said that it hadn't struck me, but yet I selected these two poems. One written by somebody, and one was my tribute. Christine, I would like to share with you that Christine's daughter, Michelle, she wrote to me and she said, what do you call mother in India? I said, Ma. So she calls me Roopali Ma. So I have taken Christine's place.
Just glad to know, ma'am. That's really.
Mata Amritananda.
Please welcome Dr. Miss Shalini Nandkeolyar, our next poet.
Thank you so much, Prasanna, and all the wonderful poets and writers here. Special thanks for Roopali to really get me out today. And I'm so sad that I missed the poem. So I'm going to go back and listen to the recording once again. For me, cancer too is something which is an experience which is unforgettable. My mother passed away of cancer, and I remember when I was in Bombay at the hospital, and I would spend most of my days and nights there with her. And right next to her room was a room where there was a children's ward, and you could not just bear their suffering. You could not, it just changes you forever. But, and that compassion that comes out of it, and the purification and the growth that comes out of it, just witnessing and being a part of this journey of pain, it is so transformative. And yet you find that all these people who are really suffering, the amount of courage that they have and the amount of hope that they have to transcend all of that. So again, it's a remembrance of my own mother that, I've just, Roopali's just listening to the last bits of the poem. But yes, I've heard about this friend of hers from her before, and I'm sure I can connect with it and look forward to reading it. So the poem which I've chosen for today, unconsciously, is of, again, dedicated to all these unborn children who sometimes pass away in the womb itself. So this is my first grandchild whom we had lost at the 8th, while she was in the womb and the 8th month. So I have never met her. I mean, obviously, how can I meet? But I didn't even see her because they were in the US. But she left a mark, and I think a mark which will live with me till I breathe my last. So this is a poem dedicated not only to her, but all the children who have just spent a few passing months before, they have left us. So her name was Ananya. So this poem is dedicated to her. Ananya, you became a part of me, my dreams, the center of my being, and my heart rejoiced. You were the most precious gift, the sweetest flower of God. My mind touched you, and you touched my soul. You transformed everything within into ecstasy, for you were complete happiness, that light that lit my weary eyes. Then silently you left. There was only darkness, unbearable pain, and numbness. The sun drowned behind the mute, pensive hills. The elements were in turmoil. The cats cried incessantly. All was spelt out, but I could not decipher the codes. The long, silent night watched relentlessly. I died 1,000,000 times. Ananya of the bright red lips, pure, unblemished, alabaster, exquisitely beautiful. Your innocent smile flooded my consciousness. My arms yearned to hold you close to my bosom and rock you. My heart lamented for all those unsung lullabies. My eyes searched in vain for those precious innumerable images of you. Your laughter as you would grow, your chatter, your playful little lovable pranks, your glorious growing up years. It was your angelic face I hoped to see before my last breath snuffed out. But nothing was meant to be. Ananya, my dearest, dearly beloved, loved one. It was I who should have gone, not you. Time froze, darkness remained, tears dried up, emptiness claimed my soul. Days unfolded in silent surrender. Still, I missed you terribly. Then one morning, you led me to the garden. The air bore your fragrance. The roses, deep crimson, were your lips. You were the flawless white lily supine, the dewdrops, your glistening tears of joy, the vast expanse of the blue sky, your deep, wide set eyes. You were everywhere, within me and without. You live eternally, Ananya, for you are the reflection of God. Thank you. I'm getting emotional even reading this. So many years it's been, but I guess, this pain is there still somewhere. to be transformed still.
Yeah. So
I'll read
touching.
my next poem, if I can read. It's in Hindi.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
A short poem. इंतजार. किसी ने कहा है सारी उम्र हमने सबसे ज्यादा किया क्या है. किसी ने कहा है सारी उम्र हमने सबसे ज्यादा किया क्या है. इंतजार. कभी किसी के आने का बेसब्री से इंतजार, तो कभी अप्रिय जन के जाने का उतावलापन. कभी किसी के आने का बेसब्री से इंतजार, तो कभी अप्रिय जन के जाने का उतावलापन. आंसुओं में सुख के चंद लम्हों का इंतजार. आंसुओं में सुख के चंद लम्हों का इंतजार. खुशी के पल वक्त के थम जाने का इंतजार. खुशी के पल वक्त के थम जाने का इंतजार. तपती दोपहर में बारिश के बूंदों का इंतजार. तपती दोपहर में बारिश के बूंदों का इंतजार, तो कभी बारिश में नर्म धूप की गर्माहट का. तो कभी बारिश में नर्म धूप की गर्माहट का. इच्छाओं की रेगिस्तान में फूलों का इंतजार. इच्छाओं की रेगिस्तान में फूलों का इंतजार, और फिर इन रेशमी बंधनों से मुक्त होने का. और फिर इन रेशमी बंधनों से मुक्त होने का. सही में उम्र भर करती रही हूं बस इंतजार. सही में उम्र भर बस करती रही हूं इंतजार. इस इंतजार में जिंदगी सिमट कर रह गई. इस इंतजार में बस जिंदगी सिमट कर रह गई. थैंक यू.
Intizar. You're free to react on. First poem I was so emotional.
Yeah.
Anybody?
First one was so emotional, ma'am. I can empathize your feelings for the unborn, the person who has not arrived. You had felt so much for that, the unknown, the unsung lullabies. It is so nice of you, ma'am. Even the second one was very touching.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
thank you. Thank you, Shalini, for turning up. I know you have a lot of things to do at home with, problems happening around you. But thanks for being here. Your poems are very poignant, and especially the first one, very interesting because, while it was this very personal poem, it is also a very universal one because, this kind of thing, this feeling, remains with people who have gone through this experience, but it is seldom written about. It's the first time that I have actually, although last time I read out Louis Macnice's poem Prayer Before Birth, so the child says that if you cannot give me a peaceful world, then let me not be born. So it's a choice that the fetus makes, not to be born.
It does.
So you can, yes. So, but it's I always look at the way poets write something personal, but because you're poets, it becomes very universal and it has appealed to me also without having gone through a personal experience like that, but I can feel it very strongly. So thank you so much for sharing your, your experience, but making it so profound.
Thank you so much. It was written a while back. I mean, I would say, many, some, not that many, but some years ago. And I think when I was, a little turning point in my life, towards a little more spiritualism. And then I realized that was a great soul because it just had that many karmas to complete. Before birth, not even entering this world, it completed its karmas and it went. So now I look at it in a very, very different way. But at that point of time, but I think it's not only for this unborn child but your heart aches now at this age when you really honestly become a universal mother. As Roopali was saying, it's, I think, the greatest honor that somebody addresses you and sees you as a mother. I think it's the most wonderful, I think it's the greatest reverence that anybody can give you. And I just echo her feelings, because I have many, people who feel that I have been with them in their past lives. And they see me as a mother, at some point of time. And that connect, I think, ignites, and, you start to understand that. So, and I would really thank Roopali for pulling me out. And, it's always wonderful to be here and listen to everybody. The humdrum of life continues, and the ups and downs and all that is a thing which goes on. But, this is when your soul blossoms.
Yeah.
It does.
And I think you're commenting on your second poem, Intezar. हमें सबको इंतजार होता है संडे का. Prasanna's the fertile brains के इंतजार में we are all waiting.
That is very true.
Happen.
It's the most, an experience. It's like a breath of fresh air. And to share with such esteemed poets, what you feel and, their experiences, इससे ज़्यादा अच्छा क्या हो सकता है? It's just most wonderful. And once again, Roopali, thank you for dragging me out from some kind of a cubby hole to come out. And thank you, Prasanna, for bearing with me, for landing up at any odd random time, and everybody else. But lovely to see you all.
Shalini, I'm so happy to meet you here, because we haven't met otherwise. But you always read my poems in FB and give me the kind of boost to write more. And now I am listening to you. I am so thrilled. The way you were relating it, I could even relate to it, because my daughter also lost a child like that. And I was with her through the thick and thin.
Yes.
And the mother self-iness is worded in such a way, so in depth it is. Even when the daughter could in some way or other get over it, or trying to empower me out of the agony of it, I still carry that pain, from the furnace of our experience, when poetry is churned out, it's something that becomes universal. Exactly, it becomes universal suffering.
It does indeed. And Molly, it's great to see you also, because yes, I do read all your poems because I love them so much. And I try to read as much as I can. And it's always like, it's almost like, now putting a face to you. So always wonderful. And you write beautifully.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you so
much. Thank you.
On
that note, let's move on to our... Yes. Milida is always smiling. Please welcome our next poet.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening to all of you. Good evening, Molly ma'am. Nice to meet with you here. Now I am going through my poetry. No one knows me. I walk on an unknown path. Here, no one knows me. I don't know the address of heaven. I don't know the address of the dead. I am lying on a bed of clouds. Yet I can't sleep. I understand very well. I have no address here. I heard one question from the bird. How far the sun is? Can I touch the moonlight? Can you measure the depth of the Pacific Ocean? I told the green leaves. I thought everyone in this world knows me very well. But this is a misconception. Nobody knows me. I am just a small part of this world. This is my drawing. I can hear my singing. This is my poetry. This is my books. This is my honor. Always living in this false sense. Sometimes just wondering. The sun slowly sinks. The moon also disappears. And me? Thus I stretched my wings like a fool. My feelings are trapped in the imagination. No one knows me. Yes, this is the truth. In this world, no one knows me. Thank you.
Yes, no one knows you.
If there is any chance,
Went through, your words. I met Chandigarh and I could
I've
see
met
that
Kukumar
feeling.
Pushanajit in the Holdia Utsav, Holdia Kavita Utsav.
Yeah.
This was a nice meeting with us.
Yeah.
And
nice
to meet all of you.
Very powerful verse. Your verse is very,
Thank you.
crisp and evocative. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Yes,
There is chance, may I speak one Bengali poetry from my new poetry book? This book is published in this book fair. Boba Ishar. The name of the book is Boba Ishar. Bengali poetry book.
Yes.
Is there any time?
Yeah, please go ahead, man. Go ahead.
This is a very short poem. I want to be cloud. This is the main thing of my poem. মেঘ হয়ে মেঘ হয়ে আমি শাখায় শাখায় ঘুরি শ্রাবণের নদী কখনো দেখেছো একা জ্যামিতির মতো বৃষ্টি দেব একে প্লাবন জোয়ারে যেদিন পাবো দেখা রমণী হয়ে রোদ্দুর দেব এনে বিরহ দিয়ে মোছাবো চোখের জল বসন্তের মতো প্রেমিক হয়ে দেখো জ্যোৎস্না রাতে দেখব তাজমহল যোজন যোজন দূরত্ব আছে মাঝে অনুভবে শুধু আঁকড়ে শূন্যতা প্রিয় মুখ তুমি বৃষ্টি হয়ে এসো সেদিন দেখো আমার ধৃষ্টতা Thank you so much.
Beautiful, ma'am. Show your book once again. Please show your book, ma'am. Please show it.
Hello?
Please show your book.
Oh, show my book. This is my new book.
Yeah.
The name of my book is Boba Ishar.
Yeah, please share your links and the book link.
This book is published from Des Publishing House. It is a big publication in West Bengal.
Please share the book link and
yes.
Congratulations, Millie.
And Povitra Sharkar, he is a great personalities in West Bengal. Srijato Bandopadhyay, Prochit Gupta, Poran Bandopadhyay. They all published in this book in book fair, Des Publishing House.
Good. Congratulations, dear.
Thank you, Didi.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And she was a star on that event. She was
This is my 8th poetry book, 5 Bengali poetry book, and 3 English poetry book.
Wow.
Oh.
Wonderful. Please give a round of applause, my dear friends. That was Millie Das. Please welcome Dr. Janatha Ramanathan.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Dr. Janatha Ramanathan.
Good evening. Actually, I did not write any poem on cancer, and I am also outside. I told you that my brother-in-law was not well, and I am in their house. But still, I don't want to miss your reading. I want to listen to your reading. That's why I joined here. And I was listening to all of you, and yet I'll be here to listen to you. And because I am outside my home, I cannot read also. So I am with my brother-in-law who is sick there. So I will continue listening to.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. Our prayers are with your brother. And if you have the piece in your mobile, you could read, but later you can't. Yeah, you need time.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
the poems in my book, but I haven't in the mobile, but I haven't written any poem on cancer or the effects of
No,
cancer.
no,
or
no.
the...
It's any theme, anything, any poem you could read.
Yes, I'll take it, and you continue. I'll join you later.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sure.
I'll
Please
be here
welcome.
listening to you. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Please welcome our Miss Saraswati Poswal, our next poet. Miss Saraswati Poswal. Yeah. Unmute your mic, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning, good evening, namaskar, sat sri akal, adab. How are you all doing? Hope you all are doing well. I would like to recite. Thank you so much, K. Kumar ji, Roopali ma'am, and Molly ma'am, everyone. I've been hearing everyone. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. I would like to recite one of my poems. The title of my poem is The Spring Has Sprung in My Heart. Spring has sprung in my heart. Doctor has recommended me to smile. Doctor has recommended me to smile. I started doing this without any delay. I started doing this without any delay. The moment he prescribed, that day spring sprung in my heart. That day spring sprung in my heart. No more weird thought. No more weird thought. No disease erupt. I thought to adore all my I thought to adore from all my heart. Let the flower of junctures, let the flower of junctures bloom. I want to flourish a garden. I want to flourish a garden. Let the sapling of humility grow. Let the saplings of humility grow, keeping branches free for birds to sit and chirp. Keeping branches free for the birds to sit and chirp. Roots serving shoots with fertilizers of love. Roots serving shoots with fertilizers of love. Essence will be spread with the breeze. Essence will be spread with the breeze and will curdle and merge with all. And will curdle and merge with all. Warmth in the every dusk. Warmth in every dusk. Nurturing with nature. Nurturing with nature is my only thirst. Nurturing with nature is only my thirst. Showers of tears. Showers of tears from my eyes. Showers of tears from my eyes moisten the lands with memories. Showers of tears from my eyes moisten the lands with memories, absorbing to keep it safe, absorbing to keep it safe with no worries, absorbing to keep it safe with no worries. Wet from my sight for every sight, wet from my sight for every sight. Can I recite one Hindi poem of mine, Kumarji? Thank you. The title of my Hindi poem is Nadaniya. नादानिया मीन्स इनोसेंस नादानिया नादान से परिंदे थे नादान से परिंदे थे कभी उड़ते कभी चलते नादान से परिंदे थे कभी उड़ते कभी चलते here I'm talking about the youth time of a human when we are young we just keep on flying and sometimes we walk and sometimes we fly नादान से परिंदे थे कभी उड़ते कभी चलते सपनों की दुनिया में बचपन में ख्वाब कई गढ़ते सपनों की दुनिया में बचपन में ख्वाब कई गढ़ते we are in dream world when we are in youth
No,
in the
please,
childhood.
ma'am. 1 second. Please read it at one go. Please read it one go.
But Hindi itself.
No,
Okay, okay,
please
okay.
read it one go and give a short this thing.
Okay, short this thing. Okay,
yeah.
okay. सपनों की दुनिया में बचपन में ख्वाब कई गढ़ते नादात से परिंदे थे कभी उड़ते कभी चलते सपनों की दुनिया में बचपन में ख्वाब कई गढ़ते कभी बैठ तितलियों को ताकते कभी बैठ तितलियों को ताकते हम भी तितली की तरह इधर से उधर फूलों संग नाचते कभी बैठ तितलियों को ताकते हम भी तितली की तरह इधर से उधर फूलों संग नाचते जाना होता था जापान जाना होता था जापान पहुंच जाते थे चीन जाना होता था जापान पहुंच जाते थे चीन पानी में मछलियों संग बतियाते पानी में मछलियों संग बतियाते रास्ते में मम्मी कहे काम भूल मम्मी के कहे काम भूल जाते, रास्ते में मम्मी के कहे काम भूल जाते, नादान थे न जाने क्या क्या नादानियां करते, नादान थे न जाने क्या क्या नादानियां करते, न जाने क्या क्या कहानियां गढ़ते, इसकी टोपी उसके सर, उसकी टोपी इसके सर, न जाने क्या क्या कहानियां गढ़ते, इसकी टोपी उसके सर, उसकी टोपी इसके सर, स्कूल न जाने के बहाने ढूंढते, सिर दर्द पेट में हुआ दर्द, समय स्कूल का निकल जाने के बाद शोरगुल करते, स्कूल न जाने के क्या क्या बहाने ढूंढते, सिर दर्द पेट में हुआ दर्द, समय स्कूल का निकल जाने के बाद शोरगुल करते, कोई आ जाता घर तो पढ़ने से ऐसे टलते, कोई आ जाता घर तो पढ़ने से ऐसे टलते, कितने नादान थे, कितने नादान थे, उन्मुक्त मन से नादानियां बड़ी करते, कितने नादान थे, उन्मुक्त मन से नादानियां कितनी बड़ी करते, बात बात पर सवाल जवाब करते, बात बात पर सवाल जवाब करते, सब जान लेने का इरादा रखते, बात बात पर सवाल जवाब करते, सब जान लेने का इरादा रखते, कुछ ना समझ सके तो खुद से ताने बाने बुनते, कुछ ना समझ सके तो खुद से ताने बाने बुनते. In this poem of mine, I'm talking about the childhood and this youth of a child. When they dream in their childhood, they keep on going anywhere in the dreams. They go and in whatever the work is told to them, they are not doing that work. They try to find the excuses not to go to the school. They make excuses like they are having fever, headache, and all, and they make excuses. They enjoy their life, and whatever question come to them, they keep on asking, and they just keep on explaining themselves and keep on talking themselves. This was my poem in Hindi. Hope you all like it. Thank you. Thank you so much, K. Kumarji.
We loved it. So beautiful, man. So beautiful. As always, you are bringing speaking Hindi poems and English as well. No, I didn't mean to, interrupt, but then it takes away the essence and the beauty of the sweetness of the, entire poem. So that is why we wanted to have it
Yeah,
here.
yeah, that's very interesting.
Anybody, reading in the regional language, he could read it in.
Yeah, yeah.
No need to
Okay.
translate, but give a gist of the thing. So that is
Okay,
the
and this
beauty of, reading of that poem. The Hindi is so beautiful.
and then the spring poem I have written just because I was not going well from a few days. Then only I have written this poem on myself to take care of myself with the poetry itself. It's a kind of a dose medicine for me. That's why I have written this poem for myself. Thank you. Hope you like it.
Beautiful, ma'am.
Thank you,
Beautiful.
everyone.
Keep
Thank you so
writing and
much.
keep inspiring and keep sharing your words.
Thank
That
you.
was Saraswati Poswal. Please welcome DrRatan Ghosh. DrRatan Ghosh, our next poet. DrRatan Ghosh. DrRatan Ghosh, please unmute your mic.
Good evening, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, sir.
Long time.
Yeah.
It's a tough time going on. It is very tough to come live for me, especially. I've been busy in different projects. Hope you can hear me. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay.
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
So I'm going to read a poem from my latest book, Memoirs of a Forlorn Man. It's a traditional publication. Okay, the first poem I'm going to read, titled Smokes. Smoldering smokes, flying up still, to smell my pain. From air, atmosphere, and rain. Once that flew off, while I was a silent, lonely spectator, in presence of your burning orb, in presence of your broken skeleton, in presence of your melting skin, Baba. The flames of woods kissed you, to smell your presence, to smell your fallen body. Now I stand and know, though a many decade had flown by the stream of this river, seeing the smoldering smokes now flying up again from this oven of burning pain to meet the sky of flying up men and women. It's in memory of my father. Actually, whenever I go to my native land, namely North Bengal, and whenever I cross the fire of my father, I write. Now I'm reading another poem, Wound. It was not a mortal wound. It was a death of human heart, a death that slowly ate up my beautiful heart. It was a disease of neurons, disease of thought process, disease of senses, the disease that was dangerous than carcinoma, dangerous than hell. It was the brutality of blissful souls that came, conspired, and confused to kill the whole. It was not a mortal wound, but it held death without sound. This poem is based on 7th of November, in Israel, many women were kidnapped and killed. Even dead women were raped in memory of them. And if you allow me the next one.
No, only two, sir. Two.
Okay.
But amazing, very thoughtful and profound.
Another on the same issue. Yeah.
No, three, only two.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ratan, that was 7th of October, not November.
7th of October, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, 7th of October.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining Dr. Ratan Ghosh, and that was Ratan Ghosh. I loved your reading, especially special mention.
Thank you for giving me this space. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Please welcome Ray Whitaker, our next poet.
Good morning from Colorado.
Turn on your mic.
Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic.
Good morning from Colorado. It is a very cold, snowy morning here in the United States. It's always good to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to read. I have two new pieces for you today, but also I have recently published a new book, and I will put a link in the chat to it if anyone is interested. So the first poem today, both of these poems have to do with reaching into the wilds. First poem is called Words of the Wolf. I run up the dry, red arroyo, moving up into the sky above with its scattered white clouds in amongst the blue. The howls of my distant brothers invade my ears like an amplified electric bass, yet it is a tenor and a soprano voice all at once. The range of expression seeks occurrence to hold. The howl song seeks to celebrate with an affectionate nosing from the wolf, pushing a difference in love, pushing the chance, the happy incidents of those who have opened their hearts, no matter whether too old for the younger or little issue for those that are too young for the older, that their heart throbbing with that particular joy, having met and felt that someone, that new somebody that has reached inside to the wet arterial redness flowing towards the gift pushed from God. Colliding, those humans press into a mesh that knows no aged too old or younger too young. Smoothing and knowing from those two bound by adult experience that perchance became an altercation to that seventh sense of wonder, that of enrichments, each having their own colors, spanning the rainbows after a gentle rain, when bare feet do not mind the wet. Thank you.
That was lovely.
Thank you very much. I have one more, which is kind of a soliloquy to the first one. This is Words of the Wolf 2. Walking barefoot, shirtless, traversing the many ancient roads built so long ago, something is dusty, feeling the breezes dancing, listening to distant cultures, gaining new perspectives by just seeking the yellowed pages of antiquity, wishing to hear no modern raucous cities, wanting to hear the far-off howl, that richness of timbre that captures our beating heart. Running up the brown and gray cobbles of the Appian Way, refreshing from a drink sipped off the leaked waterfall from an aqueduct. There is the love from the women and the men of the before. What touches our souls and warms our synapses. Climbing now the switchbacks of the South Mountain, topping the 40-foot waterfall there, standing on the worn mountains of the Blue Ridge that have gladly given up their quartz crags for their love of the sky's riotous changes. Even so, towns of humans with little impact on this moment. No traffic lights interfering, red, yellow, green. Watching the oncoming race of wispy white clouds from the west when peering through the green leaves atop Albert Mountain. The wolves sing about love in their marvelous way. We listen when we can but hear. Thank you.
Brilliant, Ray. Yellow pages of antiquity.
Yeah, I was feeling very global and inspired with these two, and I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to share these with you. I'll put the
links.
Link in chat to the book.
That was Ray. Please give a round of applause, my dear friends. Please welcome Somdatta Mitra, Miss Somdatta Mitra.
Good evening, everyone. I'm back again after a very long interval. I want to sincerely thank Ms. Dr. Prasanna sir for always encouraging us, for always helping us to evolve with our expressions in a platform which we all crave for. Over the emotions that gathered today over the Cancer Day, the National or International Cancer Day today, I could not restrain my feelings, recalling the moments when I lost 6 members in my family. The most depressive part was when I lost my father, with whom I was very much attached. My childhood, my adulthood, everything was connected to him. Every breath, every single moment that I cherished in my childhood, all were very much into the gloomy side of life. for a very long period. I was depressed, and it took time for me to heal from that. I just want to pray that I know now that cancer does not cure completely to a lot many patients, but at least there must be certain research over this, that the pain can be healed if it cannot be cured completely. The patients who suffer, they bear an enormous pain, which the people surrounded by them, they cannot bear it. They cannot see them suffer. So I just leave this with a prayer that the pain can be healed to the Lord, to the Almighty. Today I'm going to recite 2 poems. Over the first one, I want to relate a little bit about it, that many of us have perhaps experienced in our childhood while we were kids, that an attempt to grab the mangoes from the trees was of a real fun for the children. And those who really enjoyed the staying in the villages, they had the opportunity to, grab those mangoes from the orchard, I guess. They had that opportunity. Children who are living in the cities perhaps are, deprived of this. They are able to enjoy it perhaps in some corner of a garden, or maybe at somebody's place. So over this emotion, I have related a few lines with the title, The Perfervid Attempt. Levitating the souls to enjoy the fun, sedulous school children sentient to grab the green mangoes with exuberance. They are skilled to use a stick to pick the mangoes. Helping each other enhances their courage to bestier. Sanctimonious in their indulgence, they were busy weavers. Their enthusiasm and bravura conflated to an efflorescence. Ineffable, it is to express the childhood stories. The mischiefs and the epiphany of the chamid led to further counterintelligence in a progress. In this entrenchment, the childhood fun was enhanced through this ambush, one lifting another to endeavor for the aim. Their eyes are intact to proceed with the plan. There is no fear to transgress over any nemesis. In the struggle together, they all intensify the moments. In each attempt, the mangoes are the target, to fill their bags with uncountable fruits of summer, to submerge in the exclusive moments of joy and excitement. In such a turmoil over these innumerable trials, the innocent smiles and the unimpeachable endeavors succeeded in the chase. Their hard work really paid off, as all of them shared the mangoes with each other. The nature was quite appealing in this village. The tranquil atmosphere pierced the sensations with a throe. In this safaric maunder, as the children began to climb blithely, their expectations seemed to glide like an atheist. In a birdly countenance, they approached the unkempt mango tree. With a zizz, they executed their plan in a wallow. The zealous souls could feel the fun of such an arcane, untenable waylay. The cool zephyr was quite soothing to their delight. As irresistible and restless minds, they concentrated on the capture. The beauteousness of the surroundings in the nature complemented their perfervid determination. Childhood days are full of vivacity and charm. Children tend to enjoy a lot. This was my first poem. As I proceed to the second one, this is also relatable. Often we observe that a child who dreams several things as a fascination perhaps to the parents, but that is very serious, that is a very serious emotion to that child. So in this poem, this child has been dreaming of becoming a very, very popular ballet dancer. So the title I've given is En Route to Success. I dreamt of a future enveloped with hope, that as a ballet dancer, I would travel the globe with sagacious plans to satiate my urge. My consistent perseverance uplifted my dreams at large. My frequency, duration, and intensity were concentrated. A temptation to perform abroad was leveraged. With elegance and style, I expressed that we must live life with zest. Accompanied by mellifluous music and conviction, I danced in a circle motion in a competition. My hopes, my dreams, and my fantasies, which were suppressed under an emotional catharsis, transgressed into a sublimity. In a quest for divine classical ballet, with my tips on the toes, I progressed. I accentuated with acrobatic movements. With prominence, I ignited my facial expressions. My body was circulating over my toe, along with the orchestral music that I bestowed. An enhancement of a benign passion, that ingrained zeal for a life. My temerity exposed a viable rendition, like a debonair raising her toast. I aspired to reach the zenith of success, leaving no stone unturned to perform with perfection. Like a vigor, my steps emboldened my spirits. My engrossment led to a developed technique that ultimately scaled high to emboss a strong foundation that glorified my esteem. Thank you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity, for hearing me, and really delighting me over this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. We are delighted in turn of your joining, and thanks for, thanks for that. Thanks for joining, and thanks for gracing this occasion. And please give a round of applause, my dear friends. Please welcome Mr. Santosh Kumar Pokeral, our next poet.
Moment.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening from Kathmandu, Nepal. It's a chilly evening here. We have cold here. So, unlike other poems dedicated to this International Cancer Day, I have a strange poem, I will say. It is not normal, but about paranormal existence, because Mother Nature has been so kind to preserve the life manifestations here. And the spirituality says that soul never dies. So the topic or the title of my poem is A Meeting with Masan, a real story I witnessed. Spirit was evoked just before, on the left of the Koshi River shore. We have a very big river named Koshi. Spirit was evoked just before, on the left of the Koshi River shore, which does lie in the east of Nepal, I recall. Tantric asked God Shiva that he might create him with his power outright, and lo, see appeared from the void a humanoid. He was clad in black robe that covered him from toe to above, stood in a general human form that was a storm. His robes flapped with a heavy sound in the air that was blowing all around. No head was there, but his trunk, black and shrunk. Then the tantric asked him, raise his size. Then he grew above 20 feet high. Then the tantric asked him, raise his size. Then he grew above 20 feet height. Then he squeezed to the previous form, I confirm. He replied to the questions that we posed. He replied to all what had those caused, was intelligent and disciplined like a folk. It wasn't a joke. He was so modest. He was so modest, though was a giant. One could hardly in life such a moment find. His trunk didn't shake in the air to my despair, to my despair. This poem is written in a special style of poetry structure where the last line of every stanza is half of the foregoing line of the poem. And I hope, I believe that this style I have been introducing probably first in the poetry composition history to you all kind people. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Brilliant, sir. Brilliant. Wow. I like the rhyming. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Santosh, please give a round of applause, my dear
Yeah.
friend. Please
Amazing,
welcome
Roy.
Yeah.
Amazing. I have one question to ask. Is it out of a real experience?
Yeah.
Huh?
By the way,
Huh.
I am by nature a spiritualist,
Huh.
and I have witnessed something. I am an eyewitness of something
Huh.
that has made me more spiritualistic. And and for this,
Yeah.
the thing is that generally poets are spiritualists by nature,
Yeah.
and they have witnessed something paranormal in their life. And we should know that nature is so kind to preserve its creations. She is the mother. And after we go, our existence is here, as our scriptures say. So it's true. It's true.
Okay. Thank you.
It's true.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Dr. Mani,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you. That was very exciting.
I
Please
appreciate your
welcome
words.
Dr.
I appreciate your words there, Santosh. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I see here very spiritualist people like Shalini Nandkeolyar. Yeah. So I have seen her profile. I have gone through. She is a very profound spiritualist. So she is the follower of Krishna. And Professor Dr. Molly Joseph, I was fortunate to get introduced to in India few years ago. She's also, I think that most of the people, real poets in the world are spiritualist and kind. They are compassionate. That is the thing. You should be compassionate, and you should have kind feeling towards people.
Yeah.
And you should cry when you see suffering. You see, that's the thing.
Do you
Thank
feel
you. Thank you. Please welcome our next poet, Laura Gravel. Please welcome Laura Gravel.
Thank you. Thank you, Prasanna. Lovely, lovely to be here with everyone and hear these wonderful words. I have a poem called Day 564 of War, Ukraine. So that would have been in September 11th, 2023. Backyard of a war, where east and west beleaguer under bombs and nets. Hear the guns' clear rattling cry, hear the sun's deep roasting sigh. Think of Luda in her dacha dear, how she nails each board and fear, one up here and one downstairs, to warm the walls with hopes and cares. Luda's garden used to flower, now her dacha sits surrounded by rows and rows where cabbages and carrots crow. Dear Luda cut near all the flowers, threw them into makeshift vases. For one whole week the flowers lived, dear Luda smelling of their faces. While she dug the graves to plant red beets, listened to the beat, the beat, the beat, a distant music drumming. She needs to eat what grows and glowers. She needs to eat. See the pretty dacha stare, windows on the north. See the face of Luda. See her stir her broth and trough. The carrots dance and glow. Feathered leaves sprout heaven's ease. The carrots sing and bow. Gather prayers for Luda's feast. Thank you. Would you like for me to read a second short one, or should I stop?
Yeah, short one. Yes. Go ahead. Short one. Yeah.
Okay, this is called Epiphany. As Santosh said, I think I agree with that. Most poets have a spiritual component. Some cultures are less spiritual than other, unfortunately, but I love this group. So, Epiphany. Each bush and bird is a prayer. The feather, the claw, a surprise. The leaf, the bud, an answer. The ridge across the sky is a chanting wall. The cloud pattern, a repeated mantra. The breath of wind on nape, a kiss. The chanting builds itself into a fortress, faces off the all. No questions remain when love is revealed as mercy. Thank you.
Excellent. Very well said, Laura.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful, beautiful.
What
Please.
a way of looking at nature. Laura loved it. Like when they say, when you appreciate a rose, you need appreciate the leaves, the branch, the tree, and the very roots. Then only you can really appreciate a flower. How deep and spiritually who you go into each aspect of nature. I loved it. Your imagery.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. I would like to add, I think that about dozen poems, my poems have been dedicated to the Ukraine-Russia war. Before it started, 1 month before it started, I started writing because I studied in Moscow. And I have been to both these countries several times, and they are my friends. And I was very sad about when the war began. So you have used one word that probably no one knows, the dacha. The dacha is a village. You see, village there. The people have their houses in the villages. They work in the towns and cities, and in the weekend they go to their dacha and take rest and enjoy. Right, Emma?
Yes,
So that is
that's true.
dacha.
Luda, we had Luda here in Austria a little while, but she wanted to go home. You know, I'm sure you all understand, most people don't want to leave home, even when war starts. And she lived in an apartment. She went back home. Already the windows were boarded up because all the glass had broken, and there was no heat or water. But she lived there for a while. But eventually, because apartments were being bombed, and she lost friends in other apartments. She moved out of the city to her dacha, which is not a place for winter in Ukraine at all. But so she was telling us she was trying to make it warmer somehow. So I wrote this inspired, and empathetic with her effort.
Yeah, very pretty situation there. Yeah.
Thank you, Lara. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I too have written a bunch about the war, the Russo-Ukrainian war, and it is a poignant topic. And I so appreciate hearing you, Lara, today about your poetry about it, and Santosh, what you had to say. We must write about these things to bring it forward to the world's view. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Of course.
Exactly. Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lara. Thank you.
And I have published a book with these poems. And the name of the book is The War and Other Poems. That can be found in Amazon also.
Yeah, please share the link in the chat box, sir. Please give a round of applause to Laura Gravel, and please welcome Jayashri Ray.
Good evening. I think I am the last one. I think I am the last one, but lots of poetry I enjoying from evening. Thank you, Kumar Prasanna, my favorite poet. Okay, now we are going to spring, but winter, end of winter. Now we are going towards spring. To inspiration from if winter comes, can spring be far behind? This is my imagination with poetry, Bengali poetry. This poetry recited various platform. বিকেল এলো অসময়ে মনসিজ বিকেল এলো অসময়ে চাল চলনে অনেকটা শান্ত রাজপথ জনপথ পেরিয়ে আলবে মাঝপথ দিয়ে নীরবেই গভীর খুশির বিকেল এলো অথচ পাথর জানে সকাল বেলার ভৈরবী পাথুরে মেয়ে জানে কি কতদিন চলে গেছে কত শত নদ নদী কত উত্তাল কলরব প্রকৃতি উচ্চরবে মহাকাল জাগ্রত রাখে এক ক্লান্তহীন মিনার বন্ধহীন একাকিত্বের তুষার ধবল এক বিহ্বল চেতনা ভাষাহীন নিবিড় অন্বেষণ রক্তিম রঙে রাঙানো আমার আমন্ত্রণ লিপি ফিরে ফিরে আসে সকাল এসো দুপুর এসো সন্ধে দেরি করো না সবই যেন মোহ মেহগনি আর মরুময় তবু কেন বিদেশি সুগন্ধ ছড়িয়ে বিকেল এলো অসময়ে বিকেল এলো অসময়ে ট্রান্সক্রিয়েশন with English language. An untimely evening. The untimely evening arrives without a forewarning, neither going by the rules of the earth's rotation. The shadow of the evening comes with a robotic feel of the city streets, or maybe rustic summary of feel of the life gone by. The evening definitely brings with it a sense of satisfaction or pride of joyful mood I have never realized before. The evening does not crisscross or navigate rivers and refugals on its way. It flies with the morning breeze. It stimulates my solitude. The untimely evening finally arrives to instill a new sense of existence, emitting an unknown perfume all around, emitting an unknown perfume all around an untimely evening. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Beautiful, ma'am. I appreciate you joining and shouting your, I know,
Thanks to all.
poems in Bengali and English.
It's been a
Beautiful
memorable
English.
evening, no doubt. The springtime arrives away and winter has gone. But Delhi is chilled weather. High neck and all over coat necessary. Delhi is chilled weather.
Thank you,
But
ma'am.
spring. Now I'm feeling spring. Spring season.
Thank you. That was Miss Jayashri Ray with her Bengali and English poem. Please give a round of applause. We have lost, but not least, Dr. Mr. Renukuntla Murali. Mr. Renukuntla Murali. Janatha ma'am, would you like to read? Yeah, sure. Yeah, please go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am. Dr. Janatha Ramanathan. Please give a round of applause, my dear. Our next poet.
So,
Please turn on your mic.
okay. Can I read?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yes. The first poem is My Eternal Prince. Life has turned its pages swiftly. Try to read the living love in me. Precious are the moments. Moments turned monuments. Our love cannot be stolen or washed away by the turbulent waves. The inner voice reverberates solemnly about the uncrowned prince of my dreams. You are strong enough to hold me, my every tear and my every broken pieces of me. Shield me from the outburst of agony. Calm down my temper and mind. Our emotional bonding is so strong that fights never enter in the caricature premises. We respect each other's personal space, treasure each other's heart as our own. You and only you are the eternal prince of my fortressed heart forever. One more, can I read? This is also love only. Just I have taken it from my clippings, that's all. Ecstasy, the fairyland of our love. You flew back from the land of amnesia. We were tied back with the cords of love. Strong bond of love connects you and me. Reminded of the flowing water amidst the rocks. Sat there letting the water lash our feet. I'm elated to sense the trance in my mind. Chilled in the pouring rain, you sheltered me under your love. Within your arms, I find a heaven. You embraced me. I felt safe and warm for your breath, a heart form.
Poems you come up with, ma'am. That is what. And I cannot miss your readings.
Yeah, I cannot miss all of you. I want to be with you. That's why I started listening from that time itself, having my mobile with my hand. And all fantastic poems I have heard, but all these great personalities. I am no one in the midst of all these great stalwarts. Great to be with you all.
It's a pleasure and honor is ours, ma'am. Creations, how well it made by a human or by the divine, pine to retain its sanctity. A purely maintained art or a birth of life bestows the still enduring spirituality to embrace this soul of expression or the laughter of the child. It's in our hands to make him or her a bird or render a canvas as a useless object every design is. Maybe that is something. What do you call it? Thank you. Thanks for being on the show. And Renukuntla Murali, sir, please go ahead. You're last.
Sir, good evening, all, sir.
Good evening, sir. Please go ahead.
So, my title of the poem is Nature is Beauty, sir. I think of beauty, joy forever. Well known to all the poets. All the people, animals, birds, creatures can enjoy in the world by nature. Birds, creatures can enjoy in the world by nature. Nature is very simple, but having a huge treasure and wealth for livelihood. Treasure and wealth for livelihood. Nature gives us everything like fresh air and plenty of food and wood. Nature can prevent floods and earthquakes. It regulates the weather. It regulates the weather. Enjoy the sun rising in the morning and the sun setting in the evening. Enjoy the sun rising and in the morning and sun setting in the evening. How beautiful scenery you have. What remarkable and plentiful. Beauty is not in the face, but it is in the light of the heart in nature. Beauty is not in the face, but it is in the light of the heart in nature. Enjoy the flowing rivers, waterfalls, and greenery in nature. Look at the stars shining in the sky. Look at the stars shining in the sky. Look at the full moon on the day of the Purnami. Purnami in Telugu language. Collect the shields, keep into the glass, display the home and enjoy forever. Forgetting positive attitude and thoughts. Look at the clouds in the sky. Eyes carrying the home like mother. Falling down without touching our heads can bring rainfall with rainbows. Hot, full of colorful and beautiful scenery in the sky. Nature is the mother. Nature is the mother. It cannot only make us better emotionally, but make us spiritually positive, but also contributes physical well-being, reducing blood pressure and produces stress and give peaceful mind. Thank you very much, sir, for giving opportunity.
Please teach small children, this kind of, your rhyming kind of, poems. Please.
Sir, may I sing it to stanza of mother, please, in Telugu language?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Though I'm getting problem, I would like to share my idea with you, sir. It's written on the mother in Telugu language. Vandanalu, 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 amma neeku vandanalu. వందనాలు వందనాలు అమ్మ నీకు వందనాలు తల్లి నీకు వందనాలు కన్న తల్లి నీకు వందనాలు నవమాసాలు మోసి జన్మనిచ్చినావు తల్లి నవమాసాలు మోసి జన్మనిచ్చినావు తల్లి లోకాన్ని చూడమని కళ్ళు తెరిపించావు లోకాన్ని చూడమని కళ్ళు తెరిపించావు వందనాలు వందనాలు అమ్మ నీకు వందనాలు తల్లి నీకు వందనాలు కన్న తల్లి నీకు వందనాలు భూతల్లి గుండె నుంచి కొత్త మొక్క వచ్చినట్లు భూతల్లి గుండె నుంచి కొత్త మొక్క వచ్చినట్లు నీకు నీవు చేర్చుకొని జన్మనిచ్చినావు తల్లి, నీకు నీవు చేర్చుకొని జన్మనిచ్చినావు తల్లి. వందనాలు వందనాలు అమ్మ నీకు వందనాలు, వందనాలు వందనాలు తల్లి నీకు వందనాలు. మలినమైన చెయ్యపోయి మలినమైన చెయ్యపోయి నొప్పితో మెలిదిరిగి, మలినమైన చెయ్యపై నొప్పితో మెలిదిరిగి 20 ఎముకలు ఒక్కసారి పటపట ఇరిగిపోయే. వందనాలు వందనాలు అమ్మ నీకు వందనాలు, తల్లి నీకు వందనాలు, కన్న తల్లి నీకు వందనాలు. ఎన్ని జన్మలెత్తిన గాని ఎన్ని జన్మలెత్తిన గాని మీ ప్రేమ విడిపోదమ్మా, ఎన్నిసార్లు మొక్కినా నీ రుణము తీర్చుకోలేను. వందనాలు వందనాలు అమ్మ నీకు వందనాలు, తల్లి నీకు వందనాలు, కన్న తల్లి నీకు వందనాలు.
సూపర్ సూపర్ సూపర్.
హృదయపూర్వక ధన్యవాదాలు సార్ అందరికి పేరు పేరు. ఐఎమ్ వెరీ థ్యాంక్ఫుల్ టు యూ ఫర్ దిస్ గివెన్ ఆపర్చునిటీ వన్స్ అగైన్ ఇన్ తెలుగు ఆల్సో.
Thank you so much. Such a beautiful song. Such a beautiful song.
It's on mother, ma'am. It's on mother.
Yes.
And mother, madam.
It's on mother. Anyways, thank you, my dear friends. I'm always, I would like to read a nature.
And thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for blessing with me.
Thank you. I'm always in the whispers of nature. You could find me in her talks. I found to be strolling along the coast of rivers. I always want to be wandering near cliffs, scaling the peaks. I always want to be wandering near the cliffs, scaling the peaks. I always want to be in the waft of petrichor after a lull of rainfall. I always want to be swimming in the seas of happiness, enjoying the bliss of rising waves of ebbs and tides. I found to be playing the flute of rhymes, prizing nature and pleasing sense, where I always like to breathe its flavor. Thanks. Thank you. That was the end of this program. Thank you. I'll join. Coming.
Thank you, wonderful. Thank you, wonderful. Thank you very much for this given opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prasanna, for a beautiful evening, for a wonderful evening. So many kinds of poetry we have heard today. Very moving poems.
Very moving, ma'am. Especially the first part of the program was very moving. And
no, I think I feel all the poems, even now the one on nature, we are so much a part of nature, but we feel that nature is separate from us. We forget that, dust thou art and to dust returnest. We will return to nature. We've been created out of that and we'll return to nature. And it's been very moving, and thank you so much, dear friends, on behalf of Prasanna, because Prasanna is so sweet, humble, he never say anything. I keep piping in. So on behalf of Prasanna, I really wish to thank all of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gulshin. I love your smiling and your expressions. We can't hear, I understand your language, but you are there always, and we love, especially thanks to you, Gulshin, for joining, and thanks to you all for joining.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gulshin.
Have a great week ahead.
Thank you, Lara.
To all of you.
Thank you, Janatha ma'am, Sharada, Shalini ma'am, Saraswati ma'am, Millie, Somdatta, Millie ma'am, sorry, not Millie ma'am, Somdatta, Dr. Rao, Santosh sir, and all. Thank you.
Okay, bye.